own it and they maintain it. They just put a new roof on, and they've done a lot of nice work over there, air conditioner and the works. They had everybody's having St. Patrick's Day dinners, had them, and it was a great St. Patrick's Day. My family, since we were away and we're all discombobulated, we're going to have ours today. We've declared today St. Patty's Day in our family, and of course what happens is we bring out the cabbage, the potatoes, and the corned beef, and the beer, and we have a great time. We sing Irish patriotic songs, we dance, we march around town with the flag. We have several Irish flags. What a bunch. We have a lot of fun. Ed Newman's the president of Silver Creek, and he tells you that certain people need your prayers big time, and that is Arlene Mohart, Dot Jones, and Danny Connie. So give them a thought when you go to bed tonight. The Silver Creek superintendent, who's David O'Rourke, dropped around and told them what's going on in Silver Creek. And they're having some changes in their Silver Creek Central School, and I'll tell you more about that later on. Sinclairville has a great bunch too. They had their St. Patty's Day, and they had a large attendance. You know, they have lunches there. Most senior groups have lunch and bring your own dishes and stuff and everything. Next meeting over there in Sinclairville is April 11th. And they usually meet at the Sinclairville Fire Hall dining room on the second Tuesday at noon. So there you go, second Tuesday at noon. Any time, go to the Fire Hall, and you will meet everybody and drag somebody in who hasn't joined the senior group yet. Future speakers and entertainment coming on from Clara Richardson, the April 12th meeting. Next time, drop around. Last but not least, we have North Harmony seniors. And they meet Mondays usually, and they're having baked goods auction over there. Steve and Loretta Salzgiver, and the Salzgivers are big time over there. They do a lot of work. And Earl and Anita Ferry will be the committee, and Carol Davenport will provide a birthday cake over at North Harmony. Harriet, John, and Adrian Smith, Anita, Earl Ferry hosted a recent Tureen dinner in the Stowe Clubhouse. They have a nice place over there. 67 members dropping around. That's a bunch, huh? Joyce Werner provided the birthday cake for Edna Brown, Mrs. Ferry, Eileen Renson, Mrs. Davenport, and John Smith over in North Harmony. And Al and Mary Lafredo and Marcia Johnson are new members. New members are the lifeblood of your group. Get over there and get joined and get involved. Gordy Salzgiver led the dinner prayer. Steve Salzgiver, who's the president, the flag salute. The Salzgivers have a lot to do over there. Steve Salzgiver is the TRIPS chairman, and they're going to Buffalo in April, and other future trips. Oh, yeah, the senior trips are fantastic. Pat Salzgiver is chairwoman of the baked goods auction. Gordy Salzgiver closed the meeting with a prayer, and he probably called bingo because almost all senior groups closed down with bingo. All right, now they're telling me the news is up. I got a little more here, but I'm all finished. And so my time is up. And when your time is up, it's up. So we have a public service announcement for you, and then we will move right on with our program. Here we go. This is for you.
Americans is living with a disability. Over 50 million people, including many of our friends and neighbors, teachers and co-workers, heroes and leaders. 20 years ago, the Americans with Disabilities Act guaranteed every person the right to live, work, and participate fully in the American experience. We've come a long way since then, and we are committed to making even more progress in the years ahead. Visit disability.gov to see how you can help.
There you go, our president himself, who is currently, as I understand it, down in South America ignoring everything going on, including the budget crisis in the United States House of Representatives, who just did give us another 2 weeks of money for Social Security and everything else the government pays for. They don't pay for Social Security, we do. And there's a surplus every year, but needless to say, they sop it up and put it into their war chest for all the wars going on, Afghanistan and Iraq, and now it looks like it might even be extended somewhere else, who knows. We're keeping 50,000 troops in every country in the world almost, at least in Japan and in Germany and all over the place. My God, let's bring these boys home and save some money. Maybe then we could give the seniors a tiny COLA. They tried to give them $275, and that was voted down by the Republicans. Can you believe it? I wonder what's going on in this Congress. The weakest people, the old elderly who have for years built this country and scrimped and saved and put in Social Security, no Social Security money now. They took it all. The trillion, the billions, trillions, $8 trillion worth is gone. And now they're telling us they've got to save Social Security. And of course they take the surplus, which occurs every year, and dump it into the war chest. Lots of luck. Enough of all that. We're going to have first of all, I'd like to introduce Fred, and then we're going to have a moment of silence and just a moment of meditation. And give yourself a little time every day of your life. You know, if you just sit down and meditate, let your mind wander, clear it up, pet your kitty or your dog or your grandchild, and look out in the garden at all those beautiful crocuses are now sitting there waving in the sun, and little gold and little blue and little white crocuses, and give yourself a moment of silence, of peace and quiet. Remember, you're number one in the whole world, and you'll live longer if you meditate. This is for you. Beautiful fireworks. You know, we have Mayville has fireworks kind of regularly. It's just a wonderful thing. When we have the ice castle, they have them, and of course the 4th of July we have them, and occasionally at other times. And that's one thing the county does for us that I think is a well worthwhile project. Is a little beauty at night. Those fireworks, just they elevate your soul. They make you feel somehow or the other that everything's all right when you see those fireworks bursting in midair. Fred Croscut, he gives up his Saturday morning regularly to come in here and tell us what's going on in the legislature. The county legislature is a wonderful group of people, and it's so narrow, the margin of Republican Democrat, they tell me, that 1 or 2 votes will make all the difference in the world. So anyway, with no further ado, I want to introduce you, Fred. Good morning.
Good morning, and I'm glad to be here, and it was a nice drive over this morning.
We'll slide together here a little bit and then get us both in the picture.
And to talk a little bit about what's happening in the county legislature, it's interesting. When I first got here, you told me that Selma Goodell and Senator Young will be coming in the next few weeks.
No, actually the next 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Well, that's great because we have some concerns about the county budget. We expect the state budget will be passed by April. But one thing that does concern me is some kind of mandate relief and tax cap. Because to make it very simple for the public, we generate about $30 million in sales tax a year, plus about $59 million in real property taxes. That's approximately $90 million. Out of that, our Medicaid payment next year will be $32 million.
A third of it.
And our retirement cost to the state will be approximately $13 million. So when you do those figures, that is upwards of half of what we gain in property and sales tax. So we're all sitting at the county very interested in looking at where we are as far as financially in the county, because we still maintain a deficit.
How much of a deficit do we have?
Well,
out of how much budget?
We have approximately a $220 million budget. And as you can do the math on that, you're going to find that this sales tax and real property tax is, in one sense, a very small part of that. But that also provides very clearly that the county is a hand of the state and federal government, because with those programs that we offer come reimbursements from New York State and the federal government. So I think it's fairly easy to understand the predicament we in is the county is a deliverable of many programs. And one of the programs that was a topic here within the last month since I've been here was carts. And it's probably an opportunity to maybe have people call in or later call my house and give me their opinion. There was quite a lot of discussion on buying new buses. And as you know, I think that we have to, well, I know we have to provide this service. And if we try to raise prices, it becomes cost prohibitive. But one of the complaints that I had received is, why do we have so many buses sitting at Tim Hortons in Dunkirk? Well, I think that some of your callers, and from what I'm talking to people, yes, we do have major routes that run in Jamestown and Dunkirk, but when they're able to, they will take people to the doctor. Some of them are mandatory that we have to provide that service to the doctor. Well, as you read in the paper, and I think you'll agree with me, the bus gets those people to the doctor, and then they wait for the appointment to be over. And for example, the doctor's office parking lot might not be suitable for carts buses, so they may run down to the supermarket, or they may run down to Tim Hortons and park there. So that's something that's happened. And then probably in tomorrow's paper, you will find a major article. I have am going to appoint, with approval of the legislature, a bipartisan committee to look at redistricting. And as you know, the census is done every 10 years. That commission will have 3 people on it. It will have myself, Dr. Mueller, and Larry Barmore. And we will attempt to take the latest census numbers, and now we're hearing that the census numbers may be out next week. And I wanted to be ready. I didn't want anyone to criticize me about not having a commission ready to look at the numbers, to draw the lines, and set up new districts.
Well, now Barmore is, I know Rudy is a Democrat, you're a Republican.
I'm a chairman, and
how does Barmore fit in there?
he is a majority leader.
Majority
Yes,
leader, which
yes.
means that he would be also Republican.
He would also be Republican. But bear in mind, this will have to come to some kind of a bipartisan agreement, because the last thing I would like to do is not have people fight and petition. And
Gerrymandering, of course.
Well, yes, but each Democrats and Republicans will come up with a plan. It is possible, but probably unlikely, that there will be a plan brought out for this year's election. And when the Post-Journal called me, and I hope the story runs tomorrow, I asked them to call our legislative attorney, Mr. Steve Abdallah, because he can go through the timing of when we would have to have a new map drawn. Also, are we going to have 15 legislators? Are we going to have 19? Or are we going to maintain 25? Over the course of the last 30 years, we've always had 25 legislators, or at least since the time the Board of Supervisors ended. Now, with modern technology and the pressure that we seem to have gotten from the community, they are looking for us to reduce the numbers. So with that in mind, if these census numbers do come out this next week, we will be ready as a legislature to look at those numbers. And
when would you, just a wild ballpark figure, when do you think this might happen, redistricting and cutting back to 15?
Well, I realistically see it being developed, the plan this summer, but in order to get it passed for this next year's election, I believe you'll find it has to actually happen in April. And people may say, well, why does it have to happen in April? Well, because you have to pass petitions for this next fall's election prior to the somewhere around the 1st of July. And you have to have your districts and your numbers set up sometime around the 1st of June. But all this has to do with public hearings, local law passage, chance to veto, and that's the part that I'm not prepared to fully discuss because I don't understand it. But I've turned that over to our legislative attorney, Steve Abdallah. So there is a chance it could pass this fall, but I think as far as the people I represent, they would like to have some opportunity to at least discuss how our lines are being set up, number of legislators, because the lines will change. Because if we go from representing 5,500 people in Chautauqua County per legislator now at 25, the number is going to be approximately 6,800 people per legislator if we had 19.
How does our county exec feel about this, Greg Edwards?
Well, actually, it's not really his decision. It's a decision of the legislature. But what he is telling us as he travels around the county, people want to see a smaller legislature. And so,
Well, he's the one who can veto, right?
well, he can
You
veto.
mentioned veto
Right.